Points Out, Aquinas, C.S. Lewis, J.P.
Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, why do I exist? What is the purpose of my life? What happens when I die? These questions and others have been asked for millennia and continue today. Here at UK, two groups, each with a very different purpose, explore these questions and others in their respective organizations. Ratio Christi is our first group. They explore and defend a belief system that seeks answers to the aforementioned questions with the backdrop of belief in Christ.
We think that over the last few decades, especially the last probably 5 to 10 years, there's been a lot of Christophobia on campuses, where a lot of discrimination and ridicule for Christians. And so we want to foster an environment where there's an open-minded discussion can take place, some free thinking about these ideas and see the diversity that exists on college campuses.
Following up with that, one of our big goals is to help people realize that it's okay to ask a question and it's okay not to know the answer to that question. And so a big part of Ratio Christi's goals is just helping people to have that conversation in an intellectual manner, even though they may not know the answer. So Ratio Christi, especially over the last 3 years, has done, I feel like, a good job of showing people that there are possible answers and plausible answers or probable answers, and from there, just kind of our goal is to, like Clint said, foster that conversation in a way that normally wouldn't happen and bring in the history and the scientific evidence behind it to show all sides in a balanced light. So,
Christianity, if false, is of no importance, and if true, of infinite importance. The only thing it cannot be is of moderate importance, by C.S. Lewis in his collection God in the Docks. This quote's implications form a pillar for Ratio Christi and their mission on college campuses. Lewis here seems to have possibly drawn inspiration from Pascal's wager and/or Revelations 3:16. Secular Student Alliance is our other organization. They answer these questions from a very differing direction and seek to provide a haven for those who do not believe in a higher power.
For the entire secular community, there are a few figures that stand out among the rest. So, for example, Richard Dawkins is one that's pretty huge in both the secular community and in biology because of his talks about evolution and genetics. And more specifically, one of his books called The God Delusion is one that serves to promote atheism and kind of talk about religion and the values around it and the truthfulness around it.
But in introducing me simultaneously to skepticism and to wonder, they taught me the two uneasily cohabitating modes of thought that are central to the scientific method. In the secular community, many find the scientific method monumental in their defense of secularism. In the quote just mentioned by Carl Sagan, he had an interesting take on the scientific method, espousing that the method was a union of two very different modes of thought: skepticism, to keep the mind rooted in reality, and wonder, to provide excitement and inspiration for finding and testing new ideas.
I think the biggest thing for us is just to be able to kind of promote the presence, or promote atheism and the issues surrounding it. So, for example, there's a lot of scrutiny and bias against atheism and secularism. So I think being able to serve as a kind of reminder that there are a lot of people who don't believe in a God and, look to science as knowledge, being able to serve as an example of that really helps in our view of kind of promoting secularism as a viable way to live your life.
No matter what your views on belief are, you can't deny that the questions we seek answers to are monumental and life-changing. Both campus groups are very welcoming places, where free thought and questions are encouraged. Bertrand Russell once said, "In all affairs, it's a healthy thing now and then to hang a question mark on the things you have long taken for granted." What is important to take away from Professor Russell's remark is this: even if you assume you have the answers to life's questions, We encourage you to spend some thoughtful moments and re engage in life's mysteries.